Hi, I'm Kirsten Adler of Explore Movement, and today I'm showing some exercises to help strengthen and stretch your hips. So begin by lying on your side. You'll bend your knees just a little lower than hip height and elongate your spine here so that it's really long and you're not sort of curling up into a fetal position. You're going to take your top hand to your hip and draw that hip down away from your shoulder so that the top waistline isn't scrunching. From here, you're going to rotate that top knee up and back and release it down. Up and back and release it down. So make sure your top hip isn't moving around here, right? Hips are staying stable as you move the thigh bone. Couple more. Adding on. So you're going to take that clam, you're going to lift your foot up a little bit and then touch down knee to knee, lift up, foot to foot, and up, knee to knee, and foot to foot. Few more. Just breathing comfortably. Again, making sure that the hips aren't moving around here. One more. And lower that leg down. So now you're going to stretch that top leg long, flex the foot, your knee and toes are pointing directly ahead, and you're going to lift that leg up to the ceiling without lifting your hip to your shoulder, right? So there's a feeling of stretching that leg away from you to lift it up, and then you'll lower that leg down, and exhale, lift it up, and inhale, lower down. Low back is staying long, up, and down, and up, and down. Two more, up, and down. Last one, up. You can stay. Take a little pulse of the leg, making sure that it's not a movement of the hip. And right about now, you might be feeling a little burn in your butt. That's great. That's what we're looking for. Couple more. And relax that leg down, and we'll take that on the other side. So you're going to come up and around. Back is long, knees bent just a little lower than the hips. And you're going to rotate your knee up and back and lower it down. And up and back and lower it down. And again, you can take your hand to your top hip just to monitor, make sure that that hip's not moving around. These exercises I find many people struggle with. They're very weak in this area. And by strengthening these muscles around the hip, they can really help your back and your knees and really your whole body. So two more. Last one. Okay, and now you're going to take your clam, lift your clam up a little bit, and then rotate knee to knee, lift, foot to foot, and knee to knee, and foot to foot. Few more. You can always add in more reps if you have the time and you want a little more of a challenge. Last one. And then lower that leg down. So you're going to stretch the top leg now, flex the foot, knee and all five toes pointing forward. Lift the leg up as you exhale without that top hip scrunching, right? Reach that foot away. Lower it down and exhale, lift it up. Inhale down, exhale it up. Inhale down. Few more. This is very Jane Fonda. Two more. One more, stay up, little pulse of the leg, not a hip movement, but a leg. Tiny little pulses, up, 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 and lower down. Okay, so from here, you're gonna roll to your back, well-deserved butt stretch, cross an ankle over thigh. Pause here, feel that your hips are even. For some people, this is enough stretch right here. If not, bring the bottom leg in, wrap your hands around the underneath thigh, and settle your tail down into the floor here. So rather than letting the butt sort of lift off the mat like this, drop it down, and then breathe. You can relax your belly here. Imagining that breath coming all the way down to the bottom of your pelvis, down into your hips. And then switch sides, other ankle across. Hug that leg in. Settle your hips on the ground. And taking some generous breaths. Imagining each breath is sort of softening the tissues around your hips. And release your feet down. So from here, you're going to roll to your side to come up to sitting. You're going to prop yourself up onto your hands behind you, and you can separate your feet about hip width or a little wider. And you're going to windshield wiper your knees to one side. And as my knees go over, I'm also thinking about my knees sort of lengthening away from my shoulders, and then come back to center. Other side, knees tip the other way. Lengthen your knees away from your shoulder and back to center, right? So you're getting a little bit of movement inside the hip joint. One more time each side. All right, so now you're going to tip your knees to one side. Stay there and come up to sitting. You're going to take your hand to that back hip. Push that back hip forward to initiate a turn through your pelvis, your waist, your shoulders, head, and eyes. And then come back to center, settling that hip down. Again, you're going to take the hip forward, rotating through your hips, waist, shoulders, head, eyes, and come back. One more time, hip to rotate around. And come back to center. And then from here, you can face that front knee. Walk yourself forward until you feel stretched through that glute. So like a little modified pigeon stretch. So you might land here, or maybe get all the way down onto your elbows. You can let your head go if that feels good. Stay and breathe. And then walk your hands in, come up, and switch sides. Take your knees over the other direction. Take that hand to the back hip, and you're going to take your hip around to turn through your hips, waist, ribs, shoulders, head, even eyeballs can turn, and back to starting position. Hip comes around to initiate that turn, and come back. One more time. And come back. And then you're going to face that front knee. Go ahead and walk your arms out until you feel a nice glute stretch. And breathe. And then make your way back up. And those are your hip exercises. I hope you enjoyed that. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments below, and I'll see you next time.